Okay. Hello, my name is Jesper, and you're watching and listening to Linear Rock.
Hi Jesper.
Hello.
Welcome to Milan. Welcome
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Linear Rock, of course.
Yes, thank you.
I'm glad you're back.
We are happy too, and you know what? Milan is a top city to visit.
Yeah.
And yesterday we went out and ate. We went to 3 different restaurants. So now it's a little bit too much.
Too much food. Okay. So you're back for a show, and you're back with a new album, which came out just this year. Actually, it's 40 years almost of DAD.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't tell anyone. We want to appear young.
All right.
Yeah.
But was this the plan when you very first started? I
No.
mean, or actually in the beginning it was just, let's see
I think
what
when
happens.
we started, I think Rolling Stones were maybe 40 years old at the most.
Yeah.
And everybody said that Rolling Stones were too old for rock and roll when they were 40 years old.
Right.
So look what happened. So it's okay now. But back in the days, no, you didn't expect your band to last more than 10 years at the most.
All right.
If you were lucky.
Did you have any plan B?
No, I never had a plan B. But my plan B and my hobby and what I want to do when I don't do this is to play music and be the lead singer in a band.
Okay.
So it's more or less the same.
Okay. Time seems that never goes by for you guys. You're in perfect shape.
Grazie. You should
still
know.
look,
You should know.
still look like in the early days,
Yeah.
and also your sound is never losing its primitive edge.
Thank you. I hope you're right, and I love that you're saying it. Thank you.
So you made your international breakthrough in the 80s, late 80s. How you never lose track, and the enthusiasm, the original enthusiasm, when you're, especially in your case, since you're heroes in your own country, but sometimes it happened that when you tour, you're doing small gigs like this one, pretty much all over the world except Scandinavia, where also you won a lot of awards and prizes. So how do you live that?
Okay. There's many reasons. I think first of all, it's to be brought up and started out in the punk rock. I think that the whole edge and the whole thing with energy is very important. I think we're born with that kind of energy. I think that D.D. Ramone said it best. He said, "What do you play for?" And that's what we need. But to keep on keeping on, maybe we're lucky that we didn't grow gigantic in the rest of the world, so that we had both some time off and some time on. Maybe that could be one of the reasons. Another reason is that we've been lucky with what we did from the almost very beginning. So when you feel that people like what you're doing, you keep on doing it, because it's part of you and part of them.
This is the 12th album, and it comes after 8 years since the last one, Prayer for the Loud. And it's an instant classic, I must say. You're moving forward, but you're closer to your early recording. I mean, it's raw, tight, loud rock and roll, full of energy. And with that vintage sound, and also, with those vocals that has always been a trademark for the band. Did you compose it with the precise vision, to make another DADistic album? Or actually it's simply, comes naturally when your essence takes over?
It's a good question. I think that because there was 8 years between the albums, I think that we had time to make a lot of songs. So we did make a lot of songs. But prior to, or in those 8 years, we also did an album tour. So we actually, in Scandinavia and Europe, played 2 classic albums in one night. So we spent a whole summer playing Risk and All and No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims. maybe it influenced
Alright.
our DNA a little bit, but also having time to make a lot of songs in those years and not really settling on an album, just making songs, composing. I think we could pick out the ones that had the most energy, which none of us was looking back. We weren't looking back, we weren't saying, oh, we need to do some classic DAD. It's always been the same, we just want to make a DAD album.
The cover artwork is very strong. The cross with the buffalo skull on it, Jesus Christ pose. Did you have any problems somewhere with that?
A little bit.
Okay.
We pushed it a little bit with being crucified, with the four of us were crucified back home. But I mean, it is a strong image that you need to make fun of. You need to take the air out of it. You need to put it down a little bit because all this religion shit, it's too much. There has to be people first, religion afterwards.
Okay. In the mid-90s, your darkest albums were recorded. I'm thinking about Helpyourselfish or Simpatico. It's not maybe a coincidence that they came out just as you were getting back, to the status of nationally known band after that big worldwide success. And also, I must say, also some diehard fans did not embrace you taking different directions through the years. So, do you think that those albums didn't come by coincidence in that particular period?
I think DAD started out being very lucky in the sense that whenever we took a step away from ourselves, away from what people perceived as the real DAD, things were happening. Because when we started out, we made 2 albums before No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims. They were like country punk, and people were like, when we made No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims, and there was a lot of angry people in Denmark and Scandinavia. Why are you not playing country punk anymore? What are you doing with that heavy metal stuff? What is going on? So we've been through this many times. I think it's very important artistically to leave your past behind and only look forward. At a certain point, and maybe that comes with like a 35-year-old birthday, maybe when you're 35 years old, you need to find out, okay, we built a brand, maybe we should respect the brand instead of just going off into jazz and reggae and black metal. So now we respect the brand, and of course we are alive as musicians and artists, but we try to respect the DAD brand.
You basically never sold your soul just to increase record sales, as you just mentioned. You have a strong personality, strong trademark sound, and that is not, a common quality in the music business, especially, from bands that have such a long career. That being said, why do you think that especially the USA and UK always remained very difficult markets for your music after the Pilgrims album? How can you explain that? And how do you lead that also, considering that, as I mentioned before, you always won so many prizes in Scandinavia, so that's unbelievable. There are so many new bands coming from Scandinavia that seems they have like an easier career than what you had, guys.
You're right. There's a thing about irony. So when you in America and England, rock and roll is very serious.
Yeah.
It's a very serious thing, and it's very important that you don't laugh about it or you don't show other angles of their rock and roll. We've been guilty through the years to make a little fun of rock and roll as well as embracing rock and roll. So that's one of the reasons. How do we live with it? I mean, to be honest, right now, looking back, and I must say I've had this feeling the last 10 years, looking back, if we were to have as much success outside of Scandinavia as we've had in Scandinavia, one of us would probably have died from an overdose.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that the reason why we are still here is because we didn't blow up big when we started out. Okay. And it fits with my mentality. It fits with our mentality. It fits with what we actually set out to do. Freedom. Freedom is it's the most important part of this whole thing. Freedom, creativity. Freedom in creativity. Freedom freedom in being able to evolve yourself instead of go straight into the brand, straight into becoming a machine or a robot. Suddenly you still keep yourself as a living human being, and I think that's where art begins. Not so much money, but art and freedom.
Okay, so if you could turn back time, you would do it all over again, the same?
Now,
the same.
Of course, we would do the same, because I feel like I'm a product of that. But I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe we couldn't see it in that sense, in that perspective. But I'm truly happy about where DAD are at the moment. I'm truly happy that we are able to have like 35 years of this. It's something to be thankful about.
No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims is still your world most successful album after 30 years, and after that there's Risking It All. You both you mentioned both of them. A lot of rock fans still consider DAD mainly the Sleeping My Day Away band. Do you leave that success as a blessing after so many years, or as a problem that turned you some way into a one-hit wonder band?
Early on, before we wrote Sleep My Day Away, we were a small country punk band in Copenhagen. And we had a song called It's After Dark Now, and we had a song called Marlboro Man. And those two songs were like small hits in Scandinavia. So it was like we already knew how to be thankful for a hit. So because we knew that, okay, it's a bad show, but we can like end it with It's After Dark, or we can end it with Marlboro Man, and everybody walks home happy. So again, Sleep My Day Away is a blessing. It's something we really like. We love the song still. We love to play it live still. But it's also a thing. If we end with Sleep My Day Away, everybody's happy. So up until Sleep My Day Away, it's freedom. Yeah. We can do whatever we want. So freedom is like, yes, numero uno.
That song still gives you same chills, same emotion?
Yeah.
Didn't change any meaning, through the years, because it's
definitely
like
not.
The song that you have to play,
Song, we don't mind playing it because we have a jam part in the middle, so every day is a new Sleep My Day for us. But it's also a way to connect with the audience. And what we do here, we're not like just playing and then that's it. We are communicating. So when you're communicating, everything's good. And with Sleep My Day Away, you definitely communicate.
Did you ever ask yourself why No Left for the Pilgrims had, so much success? Is there any special recipe in it? Did you feel it while you were recording
We were
it?
living that life at the moment. So it was very true to ourselves. It was really, really going to bed very, very late or very early and sleeping your day away, waking up with some kind of Weltschmerz or youth depression, and that brings out a lot of lyric, a lot of art, a lot of who am I? So it was when we were like 20, 23 years old, it was like being a young man at that point. It's for everybody. To be it's filled with energy and filled with doubts.
Yeah.
It's like oh shit, oh yes, no, yes, no. So that's part of the art in it, but it's also an album which is energy all the way through. There's no balance, so there was a lot of energy in the band at that point.
Is the song Burning Star about all of this, going up and then down? Is about it or not?
Burning Star is looking for a higher meaning or a deeper meaning, and just to be with what is, just like the song, just to be, shine and be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jesper, you recorded the solo album Dying Is Easy in 2017. Why this choice? Why actually now you felt, the different need to express yourself also outside of the band, since you've always been one of the main composers in it. So which was the idea? Why now and why that album?
Because of the break. Because that was 8 years. I was going nuts. it's very important to be creative. It's very important. It's like pages of my diary to make songs. So I needed to find out, where am I now? Who am I now? What kind of music moves me now? Nothing was happening in the band. I needed to do something.
Okay.
I was so happy that I did it. I'm so proud of the album. It's like, wait, all right, hey. So it's a new era for me. It's a way of. I was actually getting rid of a lot of doubts. Am I good enough? Can I compose? Am I
Can
good
I do it on my own as well?
Suddenly I was like, you're all right, Jesper. So that gives me a renewed sense of confidence, which is worth a lot when you're in the middle of it.
Okay. So Jacob is your brother. What's the trick to make, brotherhood work in a band from your point of view?
It's shoulder to shoulder onwards.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of going like this, it's like it's onwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you always find your balance all the time?
No, but the balance is always out of balance.
Okay.
But trying to find it, that's art.
Okay, so Stig is not here, but maybe you can talk about it anyways. About the 2-string basses. Does he use them also in the studio?
Yeah.
And where the idea came from in the very first place?
He started out, because he's left-handed, there weren't many basses to buy left-handed basses, so he needed to get some built. And the first ones weren't maybe so good, but the last 5 or 10 of those is very well built. So
does he build them himself?
No, he designs them, but there's there's a professional guy doing it. Okay. But now they're built so well that they sound marvelous. So now he's using them in the studio as well.
Why is it not a limitation at all, having just 2 strings on the bass?
You said it in the start of the interview. How do you keep your simple and primal energy? That's one of the reasons.
Oh, wow. Okay. If you have to pick the 3 best DAD albums that can sum up your career and, immediately make maybe a new fan know what the band is all about, which ones would you pick?
Of course you have to mention No Fuel, but I think that Everything Glows is where Lars joined, and we could actually set a new agenda, and we did. So that felt like a major victory to make Everything Glows. And I think maybe coming back after 8 years with A Prayer for the Loud is, and still people are recognizing you for who you are and what you're doing, and it's like, yeah, great, you're back kind of feeling. So I'd say those 3 albums at the moment. And
by the way, all you fans that have just the No Fuel album, you don't know how much good music you're missing. So go figure it out. Okay. So, and what can you say to a rock fan that never bought a ticket for your show? To invite him to come.
I think that classic rock with a twist, a blues based without being old. I think that a band that really know what they're doing. A band that can put on a show. Yeah, so that's true. You also burn drums up. Yeah, we can do whatever. Okay, so you kept the classic lineup pretty much through the whole career, except Peter. What happened to the original drummer? He had to find, because things, time passes, things evolve. At the moment where Peter was leaving DAD was the moment where I really found out I will never want to do anything else but to be the lead singer on a rock band. I really had this feeling. That was like 10, 15 years into our career. Suddenly I found out it is me. I am nothing but this. I want this so bad. And Peter had the opposite feeling. It's not really me. So he wanted to go to school, and he went he became an engineer. Okay. And now he's got a very well-paid job in Novo Nordisk, who makes the diabetes. Okay. So he did the right thing. He left at the right time. So you made a different choice of life. Yeah. Total different. Yeah. Okay. As pioneers, what do you think of the current Scandinavian rock scene? Which, in the last, let's say, 15 years has been very prolific. Yeah. Is there any band you like in particular, or that you see DAD in some of DAD in? I know for a fact that a lot of these bands that I really adore, that I really, really like, and it's everything from Helicopters to Backyard Babies to Hardcore Superstar to all the way into the whole Gothenburg, In Flames, all the death and black metal. I know that they listened to DAD when they started out.
Yeah.
I have tremendous respect for the Swedish rock scene. I really, really like it, and I would like to say that DAD is one of the only Swedish bands to come out of Denmark. Cheers.
Okay, so last question. Hot topic of this month. Motley Crue reunion after the farewell.
Oh yeah.
You're for it or against it? Positive or negative thing, in your opinion? Since you never actually split up with the band, you always went on, you've been very coherent with your style. You never, said, okay, we stopped, then came back. So what do you feel about it?
I do not. I don't care so much about Motley Crue. I really, really like the stuff, their hits, and I understand where they come from. But they're too much for me. They're like they're too. They were too hair metal for me. But you are allowed to do whatever you want because art.
Yeah, but they promised they would have never come back.
And that's bullshit. Everything, all that shit is bullshit. I cannot go into it. But art must never die, so it's okay.
Okay. What's next for DAD after this tour?
Next year we're gonna play a lot of Scandinavian shows, and I know for a fact that we're thinking about the maybe in 21 we shouldn't play Danish shows. Maybe we should only play outside of Scandinavia because we need to communicate the fact that it means a lot to us to come outside of Denmark, that it means a lot. We couldn't really live without that perspective of coming out of Scandinavia. I think it's too much of a kindergarten to be just touring Scandinavia.
Okay.
This is the real world, and in the summertime everybody calls, and we just pick the Danish shows. In 21, that'll change.
Okay. So is it more stimulating for you to play outside of Scandinavia?
Yes, definitely.
It is.
Definitely.
Okay, even if you're doing smaller venues sometimes, or
Yeah.
it's more stimulating.
Yeah. We play two Danish shows, and that pays for a euro to 30 dates.
And you can do whatever you want. Okay, Jesper, thanks so much for your time. Do you want to salute the Italian fans?
Okay, listen to me. You are watching and you're listening to Linnea. It's very important that you go and find out what else is on this website. So, apart from DAD, a lot of other good stuff is going on. Grazie.
Thank you, Jesper. Ciao.